Sure, I'd be happy to answer that. I didn't say I only believe in things I can see. Those are your words, not mine. What I would say, however, is for what you and I are talking about, that is the existence of God, uh, I would believe in things that I can infer rationally from what I see, hear, taste, touch, smell, and move. In other words, the senses that enable us to perceive what we call external reality are what we need as the foundation to investigate something like God. Uh, and we must achieve some kind of what I call consensual validation on our observations. And we can't use things like our internal images or dreams or what might be hallucinations to draw conclusions. We need to rely upon what I call objective evidence. Now, we can infer things that do exist but that we can't see directly. Electrons is a good example. But we don't know that electrons exist except by making observations. And we say they must exist because they are required to explain sets of observations that we make. So given that qualification, I think that we could move on.
That's good. That's good. I mean, it was perhaps my misunderstanding. It's great that you think that basically reality is not limited to our vision, and it's good that you accept that we can make observation, and based on our observation that we can infer about the reality and about the existence of what we might not be able to see. That's good, and I think that clearly indicates that for us, in order to know the existence of God, it's not necessary to directly see God. If we have unequivocal evidence about the existence of God, we can still reach the conclusion and actually believe in a God as if, almost as if we see God. We can reach this level of certainty, and I think that's how I personally think that the belief in God should be, and I think that I try to work towards such kind of belief. It's not just that I was told that there is God, that I believe in what my parents told me, or friends told me, or teachers told me. No, I actually I think that I should see the compelling, unequivocal evidence, and from those evidence that I should actually infer that there is God. So back to my diagram, is as I mentioned, is basically, if there is God, He can make Himself known to us through His words and through His works. And words I call messenger and messages. As I kind of use a metaphor, I say you have two ears, one of them for messages, one of them for messengers. So, and then you have two eyes that once you get these messages and are taught by the messenger, that you use your eyes, two eyes, make observation, and look at two works. What I call, one is human being, look yourself, and then look the universe. Universe without a human being. Now, and to me, it's like you have two eyes. You can say in one way that you're supposed to look at two things and make an observation, and through that when you need to actually bear witness to the existence of God in order to ultimately make conclusions, say there is God. For me, it's not that you just believe in God, that you see unequivocal evidence through the guidance, the teaching of the message and messenger, and then you say, I bear witness that there is God given my observation.
Okay. I'll go back to something you said at the beginning of that statement. You said if we had unequivocal evidence, we could believe that God exists without seeing him. I agree with you on that. In other words, having a meeting with God would be good evidence to support the hypothesis that he exists, but it's not necessary if we have other evidence which would allow us to rationally infer that he exists. Just like electrons, we have enough evidence from what we observe in experiments to infer the existence of electrons without actually seeing them. And I grant that it is possible that we could have evidence that God exists by inferring that from evidence that we have. I don't think that it's been done. I don't think that you will be able to demonstrate this, but certainly I would keep an open mind and see if you or anyone else could do it. Your metaphor that you presented here is fine. I think it basically lays out in a different way the categories of evidence that we have identified, particularly the idea of words and works, or what I have called as talk and products. It's basically the same kind of thing. So, the question is, can we examine the universe and find enough unequivocal evidence that God exists? Can we come to the conclusion that he probably exists rather than to the conclusion that he probably does not exist? We have about 15 minutes remaining before our hour and a half is up, so you might want to keep that in mind as you comment further.
Okay, it's good that we have more in agreement today. What I see in this case, I think it's really important for me to say that the existence of God is not a matter of fate for me. It's a matter of witnessing the sign. So that's why in Islam, basically, when you decide to become a believer, there is the only requirement that you have to do, you have to recite and accept a statement we call Shahada, the declaration of faith. The statement goes like this: it says, "Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah," means that I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, or there is no God but God. So, and ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasulullah. Again, I bear witness that Muhammad is the messenger and the slave of God. So that's, I think, is interesting. That statement doesn't go like I believe that there is no God but Allah. Is I bear witness. Is again, it's not like I believe that Muhammad is the messenger. It's I bear witness that Muhammad is messenger. So for that, I think it's really interesting when you even look at the very first message revealed to Prophet Muhammad. It was not like believe that there is God. It was iqra, read, recite, meaning that look around, read the book of universe and read the book of Quran, read the book of human being. Then you can, from this reading, when you see the sign, that you can verily conclude that there is God. To me, as a believer, I do not see belief in God as a fate, an article fate, and this the God that I believe because it's just that's the requirement for me to be Muslim. For me, it is the reality. it is the reality, is understanding of the reality, and it is act upon this understanding